I've lived in Bali for 6 months of this year. So in this video, I'm going to give you my pros, cons, and my monthly expenses, so you have a general idea before coming here. Let's go. If you don't know who I am, I'm Sugam or Sugi, and I work remotely in marketing online and make content on the side, helping take YouTube full-time in the next coming years. If you're wondering, ethnically I'm Nepalese, but grew up in the UK, specifically London, for about 20 years. So if you can't tell from this face, I am British. Like, doesn't this face represent Great Britain? I think it does. Firstly, before we go to the pros list, just want to say I didn't plan to come to Bali for this long. Originally just planned to come here for like 2 months. Then I was going to go off to Malaysia and wherever, right? But decided to come back because I really enjoyed my first 2 months here. So came back for another 4 months. And I feel like I've experienced the Bali lifestyle in the dry and the wet season. First, and my favorite has to be the lifestyle freedom that you have in Bali. So what I mean by that, right? Like, Bali has different communities that you can join, right? So you have fitness community, you have surfing community, you have digital nomad community, partying community, you've got the spiritual community. Whatever floats your boat here, you kind of do have that, and you can build a life around it. So for example, for me, I work remotely and I make content and I love fitness, right? So a lot of my days are structured around that, right? So I've been able to join the fitness community through running clubs, through Muay Thai, through the gym, and I've also been able to network with people from like all over the world through the digital nomad community. So you're able to have this lifestyle freedom that you have depending on your job, your hobbies, and what you like to do. And that's what I really, really love about this place. Moving on to number 2 is the fact that it's got a diverse landscape. So Bali by itself as an island is beautiful. It's got huge mountains that you can hike to. It's got waves that you can surf, clear beaches to do snorkeling or scuba diving. And it's combined with the fact that it's got rice fields, beautiful cafes, restaurants, gyms, beach clubs, all meshed into one. Is the fact that the island has everything in one. And I think that's what attracts a lot of people here, because of like how much things you can do in terms of nature and just industrial things that you have here, right? You've probably seen people like post on Instagram, like all these things. And yeah, Bali is very beautiful, man. Like, I'll be honest, like the landscape here is super beautiful. It's a combination of nature and industrialization into one. So for me, it's a beautiful place and a beautiful landscape. Moving to the next one is the people and the culture, right? I would say the locals, Balinese people, Indonesian people, and most of like the immigrants or expats, you can call them, or nomads, whoever, right, are very friendly. People are like, willing to talk. You just can spark a conversation like in the morning, or in the afternoon if you want to. So it's very easy to talk to people here because people are, I would say, quite social, quite friendly, very open, So I think it's the island lifestyle. So people are very chill, so you can spark a conversation. For me, I always come into London because growing up in London, a huge city where, everything's about money and just work, right? You don't have that, I think, that connection that you may have with someone, right? And it's very hard to spark a conversation with a stranger in London. Like, you can do it, like, don't get me wrong, people are very friendly, but I would say it's much harder to approach because you may have a mean mug, you may get robbed, so all of these things, right? So in Bali, you don't have that barrier you may have in London. So, you can spark a conversation with like a beautiful girl if you want to, or if you want to network with someone, you can kind of just spark a conversation, right? I would say like the people, the culture are very good. Local Balinese people are very friendly. I'm Asian, so my landlord, she kind of took me as a son. I even called her like mom, like Ibu. Of course, there are bad actors in this place, but most people are very chilled, happy, talking, loving life, so it's quite good to see. And I feel like that energy kind of radiates to you, right? You can make friends there really quickly, but there are some cons to it, and I'll explain on my cons list. Generally, positive people, lovely locals, lovely Indonesian people, and lovely immigrants or expats, right? Like me. If you see me in Bali and you want to spark a conversation, come say hi. I'm happy to talk to you if I'm not busy. Moving on to the next one, which is the cost of living here, right? I'm speaking for people who kind of are from the West, specifically like the UK, US, Europe, Canada, all them places, right? For us, like who kind of work from there or are from there, like the lifestyle cost is much affordable than I'll say somewhere in London. So I'm just gonna break down my cost here and let you know. For my rent, right now, this month I'm paying £600 a month for a huge room, ensuite, kitchen, and just in the middle of the city center, right? So very convenient location, right? The next cost I have is the gym, which I pay about $120 a month. The reason I'm paying so much is because I pay $80 a month for the biggest gym in basically Asia or Indonesia. So normally it's $160, but they gave me a discount because, we did some promotion and stuff. So they wanted to give me like half price for it. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it for you. Very happy to take it. So very grateful for that. Other $40 I'm paying for like class pass to do Muay Thai, boxing, yoga, or anything, just other fitness activities, because I do love fitness. So $120, but don't get me wrong, you don't have to spend this much. If someone just wants to go to the gym, you can get like really good gyms for like, $30, $20 a month. So it just depends on what kind of gyms you want, right? But gyms are beautiful and they are pricey, especially the luxury ones. They are very pricey. But if you're someone who loves the gym and wants to network with like the best bodybuilders, the best physique people, and want to kind of get in your best physique, then I would say go to luxury gym because you do see some serious people, right? Moving on to next one, which is food. So I don't cook at all. Since I came to Asia like almost a year ago, I think I've really cooked is probably like an egg, which is terrible. That egg was terrible, by the way. But in terms of food, yeah, I pay about $500 a month. Now that does seem a lot for food, but you gotta notice, right? I eat twice a day, and I also have coffee as well, right? And $500 for not cooking kind of saves me a headache, and kind of lets me enjoy like really, really good food, right? The food here is amazing, right? I'll break it down later, but food here is amazing. So $500 for food. And next one is Transient, which is for the scooter. So for the scooter, I pay about $70 a month, and including petrol, I would say about $30 to $40 because I am like traveling a lot, like moving around a lot in Bali. So if you're not someone who moves a lot, then you don't have to spend that much on petrol, right? Maybe $20 max. So I'm paying about $110 for scooter. And just travel in itself. Next one I'm gonna say is life cost. What I mean by that, something like buying utilities, right? Like a toothbrush, like a tripod, or just like a helmet or something like that, right? Just going out having fun, just doing my thing, entertainment, and boom, 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 all that kind of things. I would say somewhere between $300 to $500, right? It fluctuates so much because it depends on like what I'm doing. So like for example, let's say we decide to go hiking and like whatever in like north of Bali, then spending would be a bit more because you gotta get a place, food, get a tour guide, all these things. So it may add up some days, right? But I would say just for like life cost, I would say $300 to $500. So on average, right, I'm spending about 1,500 to 2,000 pound a month, which comes to about $2,000 to $2,500 a month. I'll say the average spending really is about £1,500 and around $2,000, right? Which makes you live life quite comfortably. I'm working, but I'm also having fun, right? Like in London, this amount of money would probably just give me one bedroom apartment. So lifestyle costs, especially from London, New York, Singapore, like all these places where living cost is quite high. Coming to Bali is amazing, right? Because I feel like life costs I have in Bali, I think in London easily can be around like $10,000 a month. Maybe not 10,000. I would say somewhere between $8,000 to $10,000 a month. I feel like it's a better standard of living than living in London. If you're someone like me who works remotely or have an online business, then why not come to Bali where living cost is cheaper and you get your money's worth, right? Be someone who works in business, it fluctuates, right? It's not never like a linear journey that you have, let's say in finance or something like that, right? And also I would say my lifestyle cost of $2,000 is actually on the high end. You can live here for $1,000 a month or even $750 a month, and you can pretty much enjoy life doing that. For me, I'm paying this much is because it's just more convenient, right? I don't have to cook. I can go to cafes, restaurants, beach, the gym, all within 10 to 15 minutes of walking. Because I'm from London, I prefer convenience over anything else. But for you, you don't have to spend this much if you don't want to do it. The next thing I want to say is the food here. Like if you like the local Indonesian, Balinese food, it's delicious. I normally just go to warungs where you can kind of like pick and choose what you want, and bruh, the food is banging, right? But if you're someone who's health conscious, there's fitness cafes that show you the calories, the protein, the carbs, the fat, kind of giving you all the details and keep your calories on check. So you have the choice of Indonesian, local food, but you can also have Asian, Italian, all kinds of food, right? Or you can have the healthy food, right? So you have all that diverse option depending on what you want. For me, I'm in Indonesia and I love food. So best way to learn the culture is from food. So for me, I try to get as much Indonesian Balinese food as possible. So moving on to the next one here, and I think I just tapped on it before, which is the digital nomad community here. So a lot of people here are working remotely online. So you can talk, learn, kind of network from each other. So for me, I'm kind of in the YouTube space. So, I've been able to meet a lot of YouTubers that do it full time, kind of learn from them, kind of see what works, discuss, brainstorm ideas, and all these things, right? So if you're someone who works remotely, and it doesn't just have to be like content making, it could be marketing, sales, coaching, coding, software engineering. You can start networking and kind of learn from each other, right? I feel like this is one of the only places where you can like whip out the camera and just start recording yourself, talking to the camera and all these things, and people are not gonna say much because of how common it is. So if you wanna be confident making content, then this is the place, I would say, for sure. That's why I love it, and that's why I kind of decided to stay here, right? There's more pros, but I'm going to keep it quite concise. So the last two pros I like here is the nightlife, and the vibes is really good. And if you want to party all day, you can go to your beach club, party all day. If you want to go to a nightclub, party all the time. Most times it's free entry or guest list, and it's quite fun. Or if you want to enjoy a very calm night or a calm day, you can go to water or different parts of Bali we can enjoy peace and quiet. So you have that also nice lifestyle and vibes, right? Lastly, and I'm talking to mostly single guys here, I'll say the girls here are beautiful, right? It's such a fitness focused culture here. I feel like you see beautiful girls almost everywhere you go, especially when you're riding the scooter. You're like, wow, like, damn, this girl's beautiful. Wow, this girl's beautiful. Wow, wow. You're just driving, you know. For someone that's cold approaching and things as well, like, bro, you have so much girls to practice with, right? I would say like the dating life and the girls here are quite beautiful, but dating here is short term, and I'll get to the cons list. And if you're a girl watching this, yes, there's a lot of handsome guys like me, right? Because a lot of people are high into fitness, so you do have that competition of like wanting to look better or doing better to yourself. Hence, a lot of beautiful girls and a lot of handsome guys, right? Makes sense. And so if you're here and want to have some fun, then come through, man. Do your thing. I'm not going to stop you. Add my fun as well. It can be very distracting as well, but balance. The moving on to the cause list, the first one is the fact that it's very crowded at times, right? Bali itself, the island isn't crowded, but there are hotspots in different parts of the island where it's very, very crowded, right? Because of how convenient the place is. As a result, the traffic gets busy, beaches is crowded, and roads get a bit loud. But like I said, it's only in certain areas, specifically Canggu, which is the most popular destination for tourism and living. But other places like Uluwatu, Nusa Dua is much more chilled. So it does depend on where you're staying. So for me, I prefer convenience, so I am at a place where it does get busy at times. Now, next one I want to say is that there are problems of like third world country, right? What I mean by that is that roads aren't as developed in some parts. There is sewers, a lot of littering, a lot of waste. Some parts of the island like Denpasar, which is the main city of Bali, and more remote places, you do see homelessness and poverty. This kind of thing, specifically as someone who grew up in the UK or Europe or US, like I said, you'll notice this. And for me, I'm kind of okay with it, and I try to help much as I can, or not try to litter or donate to homeless people and tip as much as possible. And yes, just tell you, it's beautiful and it's got industrial buildings that look crazy, but there are waste homelessness in some part of areas. So you are exposed to that segregation at time. Something just be aware of and keep in mind. Moving on to the next one, I said it's easy to make friends, right? And that's a yes and no. It's easy to make friends for a short term, but to make long-term friends, I would say it's pretty hard. People here are moving in and out all the time, right? Either they're here for tourism, or either they're here for a few months or 6 months or a year. People are moving in and out all the time, right? So you may know someone for like a month, 2 months, but they may go to a different place, you know, or some people may decide they don't want to live there anymore, kind of move out, right? So even for me, who's lived there for 6 months of the year, I'm leaving myself, right? So all the connections that you have may disappear, right? And for me, how I see and how a lot of people see Bali is they see it as like a temporary place for 3 to 6 months, work, grind, have fun, and go to a different place and come back next year or the year after. And that's how I kind of view Bali as well. So it is hard to make that connection because you may be out of the country, they may be out of the country, and things may not work out in the same time. Moving on to the next point, which is similar, which is dating. To do long-term dating it is very hard. Like short-term dating, yes, it's very fun. You can go on Tinder, you can call to approach girls, go online dating and find girls through there or clubbing or whatever. But to do like long-term dating here is very hard, right? Because people are moving in and out like that. Girls' mindsets here, I would say, is short-term based, I would say, a lot of them. And even the guys, I would say, let's be fair, like even the guys here are like short-term dating kind of thing. So unless you see yourself living there for like a year, 2 years, I would say not to even mess with like long-term dating here. Just have fun, like literally just have fun. That's the advice I would give. Number 3, I would say here is safety, specifically riding on the scooter. Normally the people here drive okay, but roads can be congested, so people are like wiggling through. Like me, I'm wiggling through like that as well. And people are speeding like crazy at times. It's like, and you can kind of like get shocked, or sometimes been hit. Like one of my friends, he had a motorbike accident because the person that was coming towards him was speeding and crashed. Luckily he's alive and everything's good again. I feel like there is this rule in Bali where if you have a better bike than someone else, you have to overtake them. Like literally, like whenever I see a guy who has like a really cool bike, I'm like, wow, this guy has a really cool bike, He has to come and overtake me because I feel like that's just a Bali thing. If you have a better bike than someone, you have to overtake them. So yeah, people are speeding a lot. In terms of safety of like kind of getting robbed or getting stabbed and all these things is very low. Most locals, very chilled. Most experts, very chilled. But sometimes it does happen, like people are like getting robbed, people are like dying from drug overdose. But that's very rare, like it's very rare. I feel like when this happens, they kind of amplify a lot. Generally, I would say Bali is very, very safe. For me, I haven't had any encounters in Bali where I feel like, I need to be scared or anything. What you're not safe from here is the natural disasters. Bali in Indonesia is a tropical island and it's in tectonic plates. Things like earthquake, flooding, heavy rain, especially in wet season, is very, very common. I kid you not, guys, about 6 weeks ago, I experienced like an earthquake twice in like a week, I think. The cafe I was in was shaking, and the other time my room was shaking. Nothing crazy, but it was just shaking. I was like, wow, like, I might die today kind of thing, you know? The other thing is the rain here. Like, even on the wet season, it doesn't rain a lot, but when it rains, man. Like, for like a week, it just kept raining so much. Like, it was like thunder, lightning, raining. Where I stayed was pretty safe, but, you know, other parts of the island, it flooded, some buildings fell, some people died as well. You do have the exposure of natural disaster that you may have to be aware of, right? Especially if you're from the UK, I think we're lucky in the fact that there's no natural disasters, like there's no like snakes, there's no earthquakes that we have to be scared of, you know. Here, yeah, sometimes, yeah, the snakes not here, but some parts of the island, yes, you're gonna be exposed to snakes. So, but I don't think you're gonna go there by yourself, so you'll be alright. But just something to be aware of, I would say. Next thing I want to say is that there's a lot of stray dogs here. Because in Balinese culture, they're seen as a protector or guardian of the house. But you do see a lot of stray dogs roaming around. Most of the dogs are safe, very chilled, but some dogs you can see they're unhealthy, may have diseases. I would suggest not to get too close and have a rabies injection. That's the first thing I did. I got my 2 injections for rabies, I think. Yeah, rabies, 2 injections for rabies. Most stray dogs are very chilled, very polite, and I'm sure they're well taken care of. But there are those who don't have a home, kind of just look poorly managed. So try to stay away from them. If you want to feed them, just feed them, go away, but don't play with them. I would highly suggest not to do it. Next one, I don't know if this is a con or a pro, but Bali does have visa on arrival for 30 days and you can extend it for another 30 days. What we do here is at the end of the 60 days, they go to a different country like Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand for a few days and come back, which is basically a visa run, and you know they can extend it again. For me, I'm not really a big fan of that. So I support a D1 visa, which allows me to stay for 6 months of the year, and it's just less headache and everything like that, right? But there are visa complications depending on like how long you want to stay, buying kitas, business visa, and all these things, and it may get a bit complicated. But if you go to an agency, they can sort you out. You know, the one I use is called Bali Visas, and they've pretty much helped me very well. Lastly, I want to say the community here, there are bad actors like almost every place. You meet some people who aren't very genuine or respectful or kind of just live in their own world. Like Bali is a very spiritual place, and you meet some very crazy spiritual people as well, right? Kind of people who are like kind of like so zen that you can't even talk to them like a normal human, right? Not going against anyone who like meditates or is very spiritual. I think it's beautiful, but sometimes it does go overboard. Also the self-improvement, masculine kind of people, you know. Also with the feminine as well. Like I don't like extreme things, and I'm not really an extreme opinionated person, but you do meet some people who are very, very like in one end of spectrum, and you can't just talk to them like a human, right? So like, this kind of people you can just ignore as well, right? So yeah. You do have some weird people here at times that it may not align to you, and the thing is, they may see me as weird as well, right? So I'm just talking from my perspective. Now, overall, what do I think of Bali? I highly recommend you come here. The reason is of the pros that I have given to you. Like this place is one of a kind. It's beautiful. Yes, it's not perfect, but not every place that you live is gonna be perfect, right? If you live in London, you're gonna have a lot of pros, you're gonna have a lot of cons as well. If you live in New York, same thing. If you live in Miami, Dubai, any of these places, there's gonna be pros and cons, right? But for me, I highly recommend you stay here. I loved my 6 months here. I'm kind of sad that I'm making this video and I'm leaving in a week, but I'm coming back next year. I feel like Bali is made for 4 to 6 months at a time. The reason I say that is because how this place works, the people here, the community here, even the climate. You have the dry and wet season, 6 months. For me, I feel like it makes sense to stay for 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time and kind of go to a different place and come back. But love this place, highly recommend you come to this place. I would say I've been to a lot of countries, over 20 countries, countless amount of cities and islands, but Bali has to be up there. All this really helped you, and hope you come to Bali and enjoy yourself. If you do see me in Bali, come say hi, come give a hug. If you're a girl, give me a number. I can't stop. Just experiment it. Like, just experiment it. Oh, you enjoy it, man. See you guys in the next video. See ya.